Okay, where am I? Well, let's where's the mission? I was working on. I'm trying to find where I was. Got to pick up. How does that even happen? How does she hear me? I can barely get her to listen to me when I'm trying to get her to listen. I'm talking of Alexa, back there. Actually, it was Echo. I have an Alexa and an Echo, but on the other side of the room. You ask, why do I have both? Well, good question. I, Alexa, stop. Yeah, I'm not even talking loud enough for her to hear me. What the heck, man? Anyway, I gotta resume some resume. Oops, I did the wrong thing. Okay, so I've been working on tech debt, and one is unit test implementation, and the other is system logging. Um, from where we left off, check the plan file for context. Okay, so let's resume. I actually see. I've been watching closely my token counts, or how much I've used. Hold on, I'm gonna get some water. I'm really thirsty. So there's a guy online. He's a big Broncos fan. He talks about the NFL. I don't know what he does for off season. I don't know. Does he follow other sports? Maybe his channel name is That's Good Sports. So I would imagine he does more than just um, NFL. But he's a huge Bronco fan, like me. And somebody told me they knew his name, and I forgot his name. He's pretty entertaining. He's a cusser. He likes to cuss. So if you're a huge Bronco fan like me, be forewarned. Check him out. He's entertaining if you can deal with the questionable language, and I don't know. Some people might not be able to deal with that. I'm not a huge fan of that stuff either, but I have thick skin. I can deal with it. People are people, right? You know, to each his own, and he's entertaining. So I give him, I'm even subscribed to his channel. So I will say that. Much in the same way, I realize there's a lot of things out there that I don't necessarily agree with, but it's not my place to judge. That's God's job. Let him deal with it. Mine is just to love my neighbor. That's all I can do, man, and just let them be who they're gonna be, and it's not my thing. But beyond that, he's very entertaining. I like to watch him at times. I like the fact that he's a huge Broncos fan. There are a couple of streamers out there like that. I really should start doing some Broncos streaming myself. I am a huge fan myself. It's super cool to watch them, and I gotta get a little bit more organized with my streaming. I gotta figure out some way to jump on the bandwagon, because I like doing that stuff. And obviously I stream, so know that. And I like football. I'm writing a game. I'm playing a game pretty regularly lately. I'm playing the program. But, and my game's going to be, the best, of course. But beyond that, I was watching him today, and I could feel the emotion. I was at rehearsal watching here. Let me get him off. Get him off to his next task. Ready to complete system logging infrastructure working distributed. What we accomplished, error logging, Integrate remaining services, copy game plan pattern. Okay. Let's complete this task now. Yes. Remove the unneeded debug logging, and I do want to start implementing into other services. However, put it best to fully implement into one first. I know we got it working for teams, but I also know there is quite a few debug / print statements throughout the service, throughout the team's service stuff. So this is what I'm trying to replace. Okay, so if I go in here and I go to my team service, so this is my new unit testing service. I have a unit testing service, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. It's got its own purpose in life. Let's close this. Okay, so we got, so I've been working on the team service because that was kind of the test, or the, what do we want to call it? The guinea pig service for my new logging service. But if I do a search, print how, and I want to look in is it dot teams, or do I just look in teams? Maybe I just want to look in teams star. Yeah. Is it not team star? Is it / team star? Well, I know it's there. I feel like my search is really slowly. Files to star. Dot star. What am I doing wrong here? There's no way it's not in here. I'm telling you. There is it, printf right there. A whole bunch of them. These I want to get rid of, and there's even a status.arf, all kinds of stuff. So I'm obviously doing something wrong with my my pathing here. Oh, is it backward? Source. Oh, maybe it's supposed to be source teams. Backward teams. Why can't I find this? I'm trying to focus. Nope, it's just supposed to be backwards teams. Well, if it's looking everywhere, FTZF MS go. Oh, maybe that's what I gotta do. But wouldn't it be? Huh. Let's go. Star teams. Oh, there we go. And can I do this with just that? And honestly, a lot of it is, I think, redundancy. A lot of it, I feel like it can be cleaned up. I don't want all of these in the log system. This is too much. A lot of them is just queries and functions and stuff that it's like, okay, so these are important to me, errors, right? I want errors to show up, right? Because that's this is redundant. Log to console, log an error. I think we're returning the error so that the upper, it's so that it raises it up. But I feel like I don't need this first call. What I should do is status error, raise it up all the way to the top, and then have it pass up what information it needs. And then when it gets there, the top layer will pass an error to whatever, and it'll actually create the path to the top. That's what I feel like it should do. You know, basically create its own trace by saying, hey, I got this error, pass it to the next guy. Oh, I got this error, pass it to the next guy. And they go all the way up until there's nowhere left to pass it. And then we're done. There's no up from there. And then you can log that, and it has all the information you need because it has all the error, all the calls. But it's like this: user type for user ID, blah. Do we need this? All that does is say, hey, we got the user type, let's log it to the console. It's like, but do we need that? And this is one of those things where it's like, sometimes if you're having issues with this function, then you want to give extra information, right? That's when you would say, hey, I want to have this function logging on. And that's what my system logger is doing. It allows you to say, hey, I'm having an issue with getting team information. But these are automatic. They're going to log. But if I use my system logging system and say, hey, are we tracing get team by user ID? If I'm having trouble with a function, I'm going to say, hey, let's see what the problem is. And then we would just add get team by user ID into the log, and then it would activate it. All these things would log out, thus making it possible for me not to have... for me to trace what's going on. I don't get it all the time. I just have it activated when I need it, and we're not dumping and cluttering all of the code. That's what I'm trying to enable. So, and then if I want to tweak it, I can, right? So there's times that I might want to do all or have some other logic for how we're doing this. I don't know. There's got to be something, but I want to implement this throughout. The whole point of this is not to have all these functions. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of printf, printl, airf, all those things. So let's go back and let's. Claude. Print F, print L, status.error, print F, print L statements throughout the team service still. Really want the ability to turn on and off all log statements, and there's quite a bit, but would be a good time to clean out redundant messages, simplify what is being logged. multi-line statements should be reduced to single line if possible, perhaps wordsmithed to include the important bits. In their definition. Important bits provide what is truly needed during the So that's one thing I have going. Now, the other item that's been in progress, and this is I mean, really, it doesn't take very long for me to hit my code limit for a week. And even in 5 hours, I could probably knock it out in 2 hours with these two tasks. I have some huge tasks. These are huge debt. What do you call it? Huge tech debt. And so I created some unit tests. I had to finagle a lot of stuff. AI is pretty good about creating a unit test system, but what it's not good at is, let's just say I had to do a lot of rewriting to get the test the way I wanted in one of my systems. And I don't like mock testing. Okay, so there's probably a lot of devs out there who think it's the way to do it. I don't know. I would argue with just about anybody on that front. Mock testing never made sense to me. I used to debate it with my my superiors at my last job, because with mock testing, you create valid data, or you create data to create the result you want. You create a failure and a success, right? And you try to create all the stuff that doesn't meet certain criteria that you know. But here's the problem. You don't know what's going to break your code. I mean, you might know some of the things that could break your code, but ultimately you need to have the data that's in your system get validated. Is your system creating crap data? You don't know. You might create this or that, and then you're just assuming you're testing the user stuff, and you try to validate this or that. But you have to create all your mock data, and your tests are never going to be truly good because stuff will slip through because your mock data. So then what happens is something blows it up. You have to go research, find it, and create another mock test. But you don't, it might catch it, but, say, hey, this failed. And you're like, why? Oh, well, that's why. But you have to go debug it and test it. So your mock data is not catching all the scenarios. If you want to be as efficient as possible, you want those things that come out quickly. And as you're building your system, the best way to do that is to use all the data that's getting created during testing and debugging and all that stuff. And yeah, you might catch some, but what happens when maybe it's something that's causing an error the user doesn't even realize is an error? There's a problem going on, or maybe they catch something and they don't report it. If you don't have a system in there that's going to catch that and tell you, hey, this is a problem. So anyway, so here's a little bit of a problem. I have my team service test coverage matrix first, showing all functions that need testing. So let's go ahead and do that. Yes, let's knock out the team's testing. You know what I should do? I want to use a different context. Yes, let's do this. Yes. but let's handle each service in a different context window. A different context session. I will start a new session. A Teams unit test implementation. What command should I pass to the new session so that it knows what needs to be done? You know, honestly, what I'm thinking is if I can come up with a command, I can tell it to start doing this stuff on multiple sessions. You know, start plugging stuff in, getting it ready. Start interface, Teams store and store.go. Need to test all public functions with real data. Approach, files to create. Start by creating the test coverage matrix for the team service. This should give the new tech. Let's continue. Okay. Test settings are configured in FTZF team settings. C.json reference patterns and FTM player skills test.go files. All tests use real DB data via sampling, no mocks. Test log to console and local environment to DB in dev test prod. Production tests are read only and log expected versus actual to test record validations collection. Team service location FTFM. Here goes store interface store.go. Need to test all public functions with real data validation approach. First, analyze the team service and create a test coverage matrix showing all functions that need testing. For each function, create a base test structure with proper setup teardown. The success conditions, data requirements, and validation rules for each test via Q&A. You implement the validation logic based on my specifications. Ensure we can track coverage as functions are added and removed over time. Start by creating the test coverage matrix for the team service. All right, all right, we'll take that. Then we're going to go over here. We're going to go new text file or a new terminal. Now we'll go Claude. Doing this is gonna like blow up my. I'm gonna blow up my my 5-hour window in about an hour. So I'm gonna try and get multiple items going if I can. I'm just gonna have it writing. I'm gonna have all my services getting updated by this thing. It's gonna be a massive thing. I should. I'll probably deal with each one in turn and just have it because. Dealing with each service separate shouldn't be a problem. Tests shouldn't be breaking anything. They shouldn't, I hope. Perfect. One quick question. All these tests are using test.go files, correct? Correct? And should not interfere with existing code functionality. So I can run the application without compile errors related to existing application code. while tests are being created. So normally when you use a test.go file, it does not break your compile because it might not come. See, for example, I can show you. I've got some, hey Glitch NPC, how's it going? So I've got some test.go files in some of these. You can see these are red. And that's because, oh, wait a minute, am I looking at the right thing? Yeah, it is. All right, so these test files are the reds. Mock test, service test. Those don't compile. They don't work. They're broken. I have to update my... oh, did I not update my my tag? You know, I may not have updated my game tag. I apologize. If you're here to watch me play, what was it? Mutant Year Zero, which is what I was playing earlier today. I obviously not. I'm working on the game I'm developing, so I apologize if that's not what you expected. So I do tend to bounce around. I do a lot of different things, and I was just explaining what I'm doing right now, which is trying to implement some tech debt updates to my application. And I was just explaining that test.go files shouldn't break your code because they typically kind of run on a different namespace sort of thing. So your application can still compile even if your test files are under construction because they don't technically affect your test files. They shouldn't, or your structure files. So I was just trying to make sure that as I build this out, Teams, which is the one that's being worked on, is going to use a test structure. But you see here, I don't see any test structure here, so I don't know how it's doing it. It may be building it all in the testing service, which is not that one. That's testing data. It's test. Yeah, it's probably the test. This guy. It's building a lot of the testing structure actually goes into the common folder. You see that I got to get rid of all these templates. I don't know what Claude is doing. It builds all these things up. I got to get rid of that. But there's a fair number of items that go on here. I'm trying to figure out where it's under the testing. So here's all the testing files that are building the common structure for I'm building this automated unit testing system that's actually going to run a bunch of tests against a bunch of my functions, kind of working like a Go test system, but it's going to use something I can run automated with real data and have a whole testing structure implementation that has it controlled. So it's building a common testing service, basically. It's going to be different from, I guess, what's standard. So most people are probably like, what are you doing that for? That's not how you do it. But yes, absolutely correct on both counts. Let me clarify the naming convention to ensure zero interference. Test file naming convention. All test-related files should use test.go suffix. Test utility files. Yeah. This matters. Files ending in test.go are only compiled during go test. They are completely ignored during build. Okay, so yep. All right, so I'm good. Oh, well, I gotta go back and get my command again. Dope. I forgot. You know what's a bad thing about working in a terminal is you can't. Your delete capability is annoying. You have to backspace your way out of it, or delete, or what does it call it? Delete your way out of it. You can't like select a lot of stuff. It doesn't work, or at least not in Claude. Paste this. Okay. Do I need anything else? Nope, I think we're good. So I'm basically planning to burn up all of my Claude in an hour. That's what I'm trying to do. I am actively trying. I'm actively seeing if I can burn up my entire Claude in an hour. I'm doing the pro plan, so of course I only have so many contexts. So I always have I try to always have a, oops, is this one? Wait, where'd it go? Where did it go? Wait, what? Where did it go? Did it open and then not open? That was weird. Why does it keep going to the other? Where's it going? Is it opening down here? Oh, it is. What the heck is it opening down here for? What the heck? I don't want it down here. Yeah. Why? That's weird. Okay. Guessing you were looking for Mutant Year Zero. You banished on me. All right, let's go find, because once I can get multiple, why? Getting on. Why are you being like that? There it goes. Yay. So when I'm going through all this stuff, stop it. Why are you doing that? Go away. Huh. Why? What is that? Go away. What is this? I can't get rid of this. It's like it's dude, I'm already at 34%. I did that in 20 minutes. Yes, that's available accounts. Test cover make sure. Yeah, sure, let's do it. That's, I have it creating a basically a test cover matrix. So I've taught Claude to stop putting stuff in my general folders, except these. I gotta figure out how to get it to purge these. It's supposed to get rid of them when you close, but it doesn't. They just kind of keep coming back. It's really irritating. And they're weird because they only have like one line of code in them. Like they're all the same. I think this is I want to say that's a bug in Claude. I don't think these should be getting created. But they're all dark like this because I had to put them in my git ignore, so it stopped trying to check them in. And that's not supposed to be there either. System logging underscore status. That's great, but is that the one it just created? Thought he's, oh, I do, okay. That's Python though. Oh, there's one in player skills. Okay, I need to also add Claude because Claude is missing a very special rule that I need to make it stop doing. Okay, so for some reason the TMP Claude files, TMP Claude star files are not getting cleaned up, and they just keep getting created. To the point I now have dozens of them throughout my application. Many services. We need to get those cleaned up / purged. Two. Add to your code instructions all star.md files should go in a underscore code docs underscore md folder within the root folder affected root folder the affected service. If it affects more than one service, it should go in the current project folder / underscore code docs underscore md. If just one service, and the service / underscore code docs underscore md. If the folder does not exist, create and move all non-essential underscore star underscore md files to that folder. All right, we'll put that to work. We probably have to refresh that fairly quickly. All services are built and ready to test. That was what I did the other day. This is what I'm working on now. Do you want to make this edit to client.go? Which one is this? I gotta get track. Oh, this is system logging. Oh, okay, so I gotta go back and read with an excellent approach. You're absolutely right. Let's fully complete one service in perfect reference implementation before spreading across others. This will serve as a template for all the services, validate the pattern works in all scenarios, ensure consistency when we replicate. Start removing debug logging, then we'll fully implement game plan service. Remove debug logging. Yep, okay. First, 40 lines. Enter logs function entry point for trace stack. Log printf. Says log enter called debug no trace context returning. Printf logging. So they're getting rid of those lines. And what are they putting in? Edit file. All right, well, let's see what it does. I like getting, oh, this is just the debug crap. This is step one. It's not even putting anything new in. It's just cleaning the code like it's supposed to be doing. Getting rid of the garbage. And then, yeah, both counts. Okay, so this is just me checking on that. This is me working on implementation. Oh, the error originated either by throwing in inside of async function without a catch block or by rejecting a promise which was not handled with promise rejected with reason. Bad file descriptor. This. What? What error are we talking about? What? There's no error. That's quite a lot of temp cloud files. Let me delete all of them at once using PowerShell. Okay. I don't know why it creates so many garbage. Let me use PowerShell. That didn't work. Let me use the right PowerShell. It's like, okay, use the right one. Good idea. All right. Those temp cloud files are dumb. They're all over the place. And now it's cleaning them up. But it keeps creating them. So I'm not sure the best way to purge those. I don't know. It's kind of annoying. But, oh well, let it clean them up. It did. I see a lot of them go away. Mage is talking 23 functions that need testing. All right. So did it actually create a visual? It probably put them in the test coverage matrix under teams. All right, let's go to teams. I want to open this up because we're going to be knocking these puppies off. So, and then I'm going to go over to the UI and start piddling over there once I start getting some consistency. I only got 15 minutes left though. So this is the well, I want it to move all these. It may end up moving this on me and closing it, but or telling me I can't move it because it's open. All right, so what this matrix is it's basically creating a long list of functions and things that need to get moved. It's essentially what's happening. So I got test cases, all it's going to create. It's just setting up all the tests. Now what it's going to do is it's going to be kind of a step process for me because since I'm using each what do you call it? Each function to use real data, it's going to say, hey, what do you expect me to find in this real data for this function? And I'll go, okay, well, I got to say, well, what is it that I'm expecting this to return? Well, it should just return. In some cases, I may expect it to return like a whole team. Like maybe we say get team. Well, is it returning the team object? Is it returning all the fields in the team? So maybe it needs to do a check that we have all the fields there. Or maybe it's a subset. And if it's a subset, I need to tell, I expect it to return these specific items. And in some cases, it might be able to figure it out. I mean, that is one possibility as well. So if it can figure it out, great. You know, I'll just be like, all right, that's good. But if not, I'll have to say, no, then I need it to be this. And then it'll rewrite. And that's kind of the rule I set up, is to allow me to create the test logic. What do I expect it to find? Like, for example, the player skills. I expect a certain range of results in the values that come back. And if it's returning like a -99 or it's returning some of the default values, it shouldn't be doing that. That should be a red flag, an error that says, hey, this function isn't returning what I want. Eventually, I want to create some special tests that actually run like some of these things over a large range. And it says, hey, you know, we're getting an odd amount. So this is going to allow me to do stuff like test the results. I'm going to store results of skill checks. And if these skills are like, maybe they're failing 80% of the time, like that shouldn't be happening. You know, I mean, players versus players should always come out with somewhere in the middle range. So some skill checks might be hard to know what the correct values are, but I do know in some situations, like the average drop percentage or the average tackle percentage or stuff like that, things I can kind of guess shouldn't be. I feel like tackles are pretty high percentage, right? I feel like in general, Players get tackled. I mean, if they didn't get tackled, then we'd have a lot more scores than we do, right? I mean, a game has, on an amazing day, maybe five scores a team. That would be amazing, right? I mean, that would be 15 points of field goals, 35 points of touchdowns. It's essentially a lot of points if you get 5 scores. That means every other play before that, they were tackled. So if there's 78 plays in a game per team on the average, and they only score on 5 of them on the average, that means there's about 73 times they get tackled every game. Every time the player gets tackled. Now, there's things that can kind of screw that up. I mean, obviously, it's not always, but if there's a tackle opportunity, you got to figure some of those plays are penalties. You probably bring that down. Hopefully, not too many penalties, because in a good game, there may not be any penalties on a team. They may run 78 solid plays, but there could be incompletions, which, again, if you're seeing too high, too low, consistently averaging completions, then you're like, there could be a question here. I mean, on the average, completions should not be, 10% or less. I mean, they should be probably 40 to 50% on the average, maybe even more. I don't know. I'll have to kind of see. Because there's bad quarterbacks but a bad quarterback typically is still doing 40 to 50% completion rate, right? On the average over game over game. That's a bad quarterback. A good one might be doing 60, 70%. But if they're getting 90% on a constant over multiple games, maybe we've got a problem. I mean, a player can get pretty high, but the best players rarely have better than 70% completion rate. 75, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just still, 80% would be unheard of. I don't think anybody's really had an 80% completion percentage over the course of many games. I think a season-ending average for completions, the best quarterbacks, 70-some%. So I have to have monitors that are keeping track to say, hey, we're having an exceptionally high percentage of completions or incompletions. Either our quarterbacks are being too good or our receivers are being too good or too bad. Something's off. So I got to have all these little checks and balances that I could tweak skill checks to see if I can adjust to get. So it might take a little time to get kind of a good feel of what's happening in the league. I don't want to necessarily tweak bad players or good players individually. I want it to affect players universally. I have skills developed balanced off of every player. So every player is set within a balance. So good player here, bad player here. And then I can tweak what the here and there are. So we just have different values there so that when they're going up against each other, I can adjust who's being more successful. Are your DBs doing their job? Are your quarterbacks being too accurate, too inaccurate on the whole? So I adjust the balancers, not the individuals. So there may be something that I have to tweak that might lower something for players, but maybe the high end ends up being the one that's most affected, or the low end, or whatever. Or maybe just the overall, I just drop them down or inch them up, and they all get a relative adjustment to get to up and get a league consistent average or result out of that particular thing. And some things may be multiple. So maybe I'm like, okay, well, I got to tweak this. And then if that doesn't work, so I got to figure out things like, all right, if completions there's 3 things that can affect that. So maybe I tweak one of them and see how that affects, and until we can get that right balance. It'll be like the music studios where they're you see those soundboards they have with all the 50 different buttons and dials and stuff all over the place. That'll be my balance matrix. I'll be able to tweak all the little numbers. I actually created a bunch of balancing values that allow me to up and down tweak all of my ratings and stuff. that they can adjust within the game. And so I've been creating all those every time I created the skills, and there's probably more I have to create that have these balance values that I'll be able to go in and say, all right, tweak that one, tweak that one, tweak that one. And then I can make sure that eventually I get to a point where I'm getting average balances. And my tests will be saying, hey, we're beating this threshold, or we're hitting this minimum, and we're falling below. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's see. I might have to do some research to make sure that I may have to have my tests run like 100,000 tests to say, okay, well, how does it fit in this scenario? How does it fit in this scenario? Are we getting this average success that I want? And so, yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Once I start getting all these things in place, I'll start playing a lot more with those numbers, and that'll be kind of my test system. I just told it no mocks. Please reread the instructions I gave. It clearly says no mocks. We will only use real real system data. So we will not update the data. We will run tests on update functions by capturing the output and comparing we will run tests on update functions, update and output and comparing to test expectations. In some cases, we may need to create dummy data. A test user that can replicate, that can be updated and then updated and edited. Expected DB updates. That user would then be deleted at the end of the test session. Year flag. Teams data doesn't appear to be season specific like player stats. Do you want the -year flag included, or should we skip it since teams aren't tied to specific seasons? Correct. Teams aren't tied to specific seasons. That's correct. Right? Oh, let me look. No mocks, real system data on read operations. Sample real data from the database, validate the data, write operations. 2 approaches, test data approach preferred. Create temporary test data. Perform write operations on test data. Validate expectation, changes occurred, clean up, update all test data at the end of session. Output validation approach. Call write functions with test parameters, capture and validate returns. Question for team services. Should I create a dedicated test user? Test teams for this user in the test lead. Cleanup function in the test main to delete all test data after all tests run. Write operation tests. Write functions. Need test data creation. Set user active team, update team game plan, update team playbook, create or update team. Needs ability to create update teams. Production environment. In production, read only should write operation tests be skipped entirely. That's tough. But for now, I will say yes. For now, yes. Production test should never update the database. But let's make that a system settings, test settings, value to be turned on and off. There may be times when it really validate functionality. Also, so we are using a, let's do this. Also, though we are using a sampling process to run against many records, I would like the tests to be created so that we can perhaps provide a user ID or team ID to specifically run the test against, to run tests against, making sure that any, that we track any changes made so that we can reset data to original state. This would be used in the case of user submitted bugs that we need to verify. All right, let's go ahead and see what that does. How are we doing? I'm looking. I got it's 11:01. Let's see how close I came to to hitting my number here. 60%. I got 60% in an hour. Could have done better. I'm probably because I'm kind of slow. I'm constantly reading this stuff and trying to make sure that it's not game plan is ready, implementation needed. Negative, 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 negative. It's all negative. It's not actually It's only taking stuff out, but it's only getting rid of log files. Implement actual. Oh, is it the blue stuff that's log? No. User ID. No, that's not it. How do I know what's new? Because I see the takeout is in white. I see the removal of log lines, but because they are highlighted in white and there is a minus sign. Don't. Is there? Oh, maybe it's. Is it writing stuff over here? Nope. I don't see where it's writing. I see the MD files it's creating, but see the MD files it's creating over here. So that's fine, but I don't know where it's putting the. But I don't see. But I don't know how to tell which lines you are using to pass to the system logging service. Because this one doesn't show it. I see this log, but a negative update, remove 3 lines. That's all that one says. Read 20. This one doesn't say insert. I would expect that this would have replacement lines. So, what does this do? That's another thing. I keep losing track. Oh, okay, so we're good. Oh, this is me confirming what it was doing for the team service. I haven't started one for any other service. And this one is cleaning up. Yep. It's my cleanup service. I wonder if I should rename this. Rename cleanup star underscore MD files and TMP plot files. So if I'm doing something from before, I can just go, yeah. So sampling. So this is what it's putting into my logging here. Randomly samples data from database, validates business rules across many records, used for general health checks. Test specific records by ID. Setting. So we're putting some settings in. We're going to have allow production tests. False, true. Create test user teams timestamp. So we're going to be able to pass functions and values in to some of these tests so that I can say, hey, my user is having this blow up when they do this, and then I can maybe track what the heck is going wrong. So all that is updating a matrix or a MD file. So I'm not too worried about the change it makes. What I may have to do is have some runs. Oh, okay. So this one's showing the ads. This is only showing the adds to the matrix file. You see, Claude's getting nervous. I don't blame it. I'm asking for a lot. This is asking for a pretty massive. This is a massive testing system. Look what he says. Claude's like, this is much more sophisticated and practical testing approach. Let me update the plan. It's like, I don't know, man. You're going above Claude's head. It's like, I'm going above my head. I'm letting you do more than I'm testing your limits, Claude. And he's still cleaning up. All right. Still cleaning. What do you got? Anything for me? Nope, that one doesn't have anything for me. What are you doing? Oh, you got something for me. Systemlogging.go. Good point. Let me show you more clearly what's happening here in the breakdown. What we just changed, service.go. Before, blah, 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 blah. So we got after, blah, 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 blah. Holy moly. So all we have is syslog, log, game plan, URL. This is the system logging call. Yeah, but what's it sending? Is it just doing the one? It's not kept this logs, the system logging. Redundant. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care about the redundant one, but that's good. I like when they're cleaning up the redundant lines, but I'm trying to see. Calling this. Don't need that system. Syslog.enter completed. Yeah, that's not necessary. But okay. Okay. Yes. I like if you cleaned up logging but I noted you removed the user ID portion, which would be useful information if that function is being tracked. How is that getting passed to the system log? Or are we using the user ID already provided in the trace when the user initiated the call? If so, that is fine. I am making sure we don't lose key info. All right, go to the next one. Still not anything there. That doesn't have anything in it. This is just last time. I don't know if I need this for anything. History stored. That was just from ready to resume. Did I? Oh, I did. Which one was this one? This was a log setting. I think the other one, I think I've only got testing going over here. No, that's log. Log implementation in one. You can build and run. Okay, so I did start it in another place. You can go build it, go run. All right, so what am I running here? I will have to. Okay, so we're fine. What do we got here? System logging. For some reason, template files. Oh, we were cleaning up stuff. This is the cleanup process. We're good here. And this one is Logitech detailed implementation plan, document test implementation plan. Alright, more MD updates, and yes. It gives me that, but it's weird I don't see the files. I wish it would open the file it's updating. So it keeps creating these test things in the wrong place. Let's be sure to reference the Claude code instructions. During your coding efforts. *_MD files should be addressed there. They have a specific, I'm not telling it because I want to see that it's there. They have a specific folder they should be placed in. Okay, next we'll go back here. Still doing cleanup. You don't have to fix anything now, just for future files. I will take care of the existing files. All right, let's see where we're at. How did I do in 11 hours or 1 hour and 15 minutes? 92%. I think I'm done for tonight. I did it. An hour and 15 minutes, and I hit my limit. I'm at 55% by Saturday. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 3 days. 3 days. I've hit more than half, and I still have till 4 p.m. on 4 p.m. on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, it says January 22nd at 4 p.m. So, yeah. Now, I imagine the weekly starts and resets based on when you first do it, but I was basically working at 4 p.m. and I triggered it immediately, so it'll be immediately triggered again. I like using up my time every day, 100%. Get all my pro usage in, and then I'll switch over to Copilot. I actually still use Copilot for other things. I have it, and I do use it, but Claude is better at planning, so I kind of let it handle. It's doing some big things right now, and eventually I probably won't even do it. I'm thinking I might have to pay though, because it's cheaper to get my year in. And it would save me some money because I'm doing $20 a month right now, which is cheaper if I think it's only $18 a month or something if I just go pay for it. So for a year, I probably will keep all three. It's cut that, but basically what that's going to mean is I'm paying roughly $300. It's actually more than $300, right? So 18 times 12 is what, $160. Is that right? 12 times 12 is 144. 6 times 12. It's probably more than that. Why did I think it was 160? Because I think, I was 160. Because 18 times 10 is 180. So it's another 2 months on top of that. So that's 36. So that's 216. So $216 a year to pay for Claude. It's I thought I was paying even less for Copilot. I paid $80, but I think that's probably not available anymore. I think it's gone up. Microsoft can eat more, so they do, I think, to keep you going. So this one, I'm going to let it stop. I'm going to let all these stop at their next request. And then tomorrow, I'll come down and let them continue. Is this one still going? Cooked for 4 minutes and 3 seconds. So yeah, I think we're good. I'm not going to be able. Let's do one more time. 93. I got to 93. I don't know that I could trust I can get another 7% out of that. It doesn't matter because I'm going to hit my max. I'm going to drive it all the way up to the 99 for the week. I think last week I got to 92. So I'm going to try to drive it up. I want to hit it. I'm going to try to hit the full week. So I might even hit it on Tuesday, which means I'll be using Bezzy and Copilot for the other days. I still use them both. Trust me, I'm doing way more than one service is worth. But having multiple services help, but I guess got to make sure I keep them all in their own context. So I got to keep track of where I'm at with usage so that I can make sure if I'm getting close that it doesn't terminate midway through a thing and then I have to figure out how to make it pick up where it was, or I have to leave the window open forever. I don't want to have that. I want to be able to say, hey, pick up where you left off. So I usually try to either leave the window open like this, and then I could just say, hey, and when my time is up, because like this one, when is it going to reset? It's probably going to be, 5 hours from now? I mean, which I'll be long in bed by then, but it says, 2 o'clock in the morning. I will be long asleep. Should I get up in the middle of the night and come down here and just say, go? Maybe I can, 7% takes a little bit of an effort. So maybe I can have one of these guys do one more thing. Like this is just do you want me to make this edit to Copilot? What is this one? This is an MD update. Oh, yeah, it just moved. When making code suggestions or edits, do not change the name of existing method. Why is it Copilot? Why is it changing Copilot? This is Claude. I already have markdown organization rules, but I'll update them to make sure specific based on your requirements. Let me edit profiles. So it uses both. I guess Claude tries to be smart, but let's just go say yes. That won't use up I won't use up too much. I'm gonna let me review the implementation plan. just for my own peace of mind. Besides, I have to do that. First thing in the morning, here's the trick. Always remember, if you have Claude, you got a 5-hour window. And if you think you're going to want to work on it, trigger it first thing. Come downstairs. Go to your computer. Not everybody's downstairs. Go to your computer and give Claude instructions the second you wake up in the morning. This will start your clock. And then 5 hours later, it'll reset. So whatever you get done over those 5 hours, you don't want to start like, I'm saying even before you eat breakfast or shower or anything, get it started. Because this way that clock will reset earlier and you can get more done during the day because your clock will reset before you have to, if you wait 3 hours, like you get up, take a shower, go work out like me, take care of home chores, take your kids to school, blah, blah, blah. 3 hours later, then you hit it. Your 5-hour clock starts then. And that means if you hit it, you have to wait for your 5 hours to be over it would have been nice to know that you're already you only have 2 hours to go and you burned it up, or even whatever if you don't burn it all up, but at least you know you're going to get a free reset in 2 hours. You don't have to wait. The clock is always for 5 hours. It's a fixed time. It's not rolling. So you want to make sure you get that set. Okay. And that's what I'm doing. I try to hit my limit and get it started. So first thing in the morning, I'll get up, I'll come down, I'll get these things going, start the clock, then go do whatever I have to do. So my Broncos won. Congrats to them. The Seahawks, absolutely demolished the 49ers, whose injuries caught up to them. Apparently they were just not able to pull through again. Their season is over. Sorry, Chen. I know you're a big fan of theirs. Chen, you're one of my followers. But if it's any consolation and you're a Broncos hater, Denver's in trouble next week. No matter who they play, they are short a quarterback. Yikes.